What's going on, everybody? How are you all today? Eric here. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to get the most out of your single boiler Delonghi budget machine, be that the ECP line or the Stilosa. They both work in very similar ways, though if I had to say if you're going to pick one, I'd say go for the ECP, just a little bit higher quality, a little bit better hardware internally, bigger boiler, etc. I have a whole video about the differences of those, somewhere linked here. Anyway, before we get into how to hack these machines, the first thing I need to ask from you guys is a favor. Just give me a quick like, subscribe if you would, and if you get some value out of this, just do a little comment for me. That helps me out a lot. And of course, if there's anything I talk about in this video that interests you, there will be affiliate links. I earn commission on those at no cost to you, and I take that commission, and hopefully I can buy more Espresso stuff to make more videos with. All right, thank you, let's get started. So as I've gone over in other videos about these machines, they are pretty good. They're nice little machines and I like them a lot, and you can get a lot out of them. If you want to stick with the stock stuff and you want to use pressurized baskets and you don't want to get too deep down the espresso hole, I don't think this is a video for you, but if you do want to just take it to the next step and really bring your coffee experience up to cafe quality, then you're going to need to do a few little things. Now, these machines retail pretty cheap. Retail price in this one $150, retail price in this guy right here $100. They're like always on sale, so you can grab these guys sometimes for $75. You can grab these guys sometimes for like $120, and plus they're used all over Facebook Marketplace, which is how if you can buy it used, it's a good thing to do, but you do get a warranty with them new. I don't know. The first thing and the easiest thing to do to make these machines work better is to get rid of the stock portafilters they come with. They come with these aluminum portafilter handles that also come with a pressurized basket. I say upgrade to a nice non-pressurized basket like this. This is just a cheap non-pressurized bottomless portafilter handle here. Probably not the best quality in the world. So there are better quality portafilter handles out there for these machines, 51 millimeter 2 ears. You can probably get a pretty decent one from Normcore. They're just a good choice all in all for most accessories. This is not Normcore, this is just a cheaper brand, but I have gone ahead and replaced the basket in here with an IMS Precision basket. This is just their stock IMS competition basket. This is a 18 to 20 gram basket. With lighter roasts, it gets 20 grams in there comfortably. With darker roasts, you're gonna get about 18 grams in there. I think they call it the Hugh or the Hug. I don't know how you pronounce H-U-G-H, but it is a great basket, and precision baskets make a big difference in your espresso extraction. Or is it Hugh? Or is it I don't know. So I do recommend this, and like I said, this is an 18 to 20 gram basket, so you can get a very deep puck. So that is the first thing you're going to want to do to get better extraction out of these machines, and they will do a great job pulling great espresso. So you want to get maybe a WDT tool. It's just a bunch of wires on a handle. They break up the clumps. Everything's even, distribution is even, extraction is even. That is a very simple tool that you should get if you don't have one yet. Another upgrade, of course, would be a better tamper. You don't have to get, this is a palm tamper. This is just what I kind of settled with. They allow you to give because they can't go any deeper than you set them to, so you set how deep or how shallow you want it to be by screwing on here. They can't go any deeper than that, so they do give you a very uniform tamp. This one right here has a little distributor on the back side of it that just kind of smooths things out. You could also use a calibrated tamper, which has a spring on it. It does more or less the same thing. With this particular basket, like I said, it is 18 to 20 gram basket. If you don't put enough espresso in here, these calibrated style of tampers will not be able to go deep enough, so just be wary of that. But something that will give you a nice flat level bed of espresso, and not give you too much pressure, but also give you just adequate tamping. That is a good way to improve your extraction as well. One more accessory this one is optional, though I do recommend it. Puck screens. Most of the time I say, whatever, puck screens are a way to keep your group head here and your shower screen in here a little bit cleaner, a little less gunked up. They don't necessarily help too much with extraction, or at least as far as like your average person can taste, just because this shower screen doesn't let out its water the most evenly in the world, and also because you want to keep it clean. I would say getting a puck screen is a useful add-on. This guy right here, I kind of picked up at random. I don't really know anything about the company. They're called Bammy Nor. They're a little thinner than a lot of the cheap puck screens out there. A lot of puck screens are like, I might have one around here, like this, and they're just kind of thick, and there's a kind of a stainless steel mesh. This guy right here has a thin mesh, and then it also has something that looks a lot like a shower screen on the back of it. It's just going to give you your water a little bit more even distribution. This one is totally optional. I've been using them and I liked it. I mostly just like that it keeps the espresso machine a little bit cleaner. So that is another add-on that you could get. So those are the things that you could buy to make your espresso machine work better. Grinders, of course, just in case you're a starter to this whole espresso game, these are very affordable espresso machines, especially if you buy them used. With that money you saved, consider putting that into a quality grinder. A quality espresso grinder is going to be the most important thing you can have for your espresso game. And in the future, let's say 3 years down the line, you decide you want a machine that is a little bit less of a project machine, because this is, of course, a very hands-on machine. And maybe you want to upgrade to something. Maybe you give this one to a friend who's getting into espresso, and you've gotten a raise and you decide to get something a little bit higher end with higher end internal components. That's up to you. But if you did do that, you're gonna still want to hold on to that grinder because you've invested in a nice grinder, and grinders really make the difference. There's a few options out there. One of the most affordable espresso grinders I know is the Hybrew G5. Very, very affordable, nice single dosing espresso grinder. Other ones that are affordable, Encore ESP, Fellow Opus. A brand out there called Turin makes quite a few affordable espresso grinders. Some of them are, a little bit more expensive, but they also give you a better quality grind. If you're going for the budget side, I've given you a few budget options. If you're shooting for the stars, do your research. So let's get away from accessories now, and let's dig into how to use this machine and how to make it work for you, how to make it work better. All right, before we get into the steam wands and things you could do to improve those, we're gonna just talk about the actual way you can use this espresso machine to make it perform a little bit better for you. So I'm gonna just pull this guy over a little bit. So this little machine right here does not have a solenoid valve, does not have a three-way solenoid valve, does not have an overpressure valve as well. So basically whatever you're doing here, the pressure kind of sits and dissipates very slowly. So that is a plus in some ways with a very, very cheap machine like this, because it doesn't have, this is mostly, a very simple machine. It's got basically a couple settings. You can set it to on the steam mode and let it heat up very, very hot, or you can turn it on to the regular mode and let it set to brew temp, and then you can basically indicate open the valve so that the water will come out here, or open the valve so that the water will come out of the steam wand. That's all the functions. There's not really too much programming going in here besides the temperature sensor. Because it doesn't have a solenoid, because it doesn't have an overpressure valve, your water is just going to go out or sit. All right, so pre-infusion is something that a lot of machines have. Not a lot of cheap machines have it, but most mid-range machines have it, and most expensive machines have it as well. Pre-infusion allows your puck of espresso, your dry puck of espresso, to get saturated with water, lets it to bloom. You can call this pre-infusion, you can call this blooming. It just lets everything get a little bit saturated, and then therefore when you do apply full pressure, you're going to be able to not have any dry spots in there, and it's going to give you a more even extraction. If it was a very, very fresh roast, it's going to give it a little bit of time to degas. That's the hope. So you can do that very easily with this machine, and you just have to do it manually. Essentially, when you go to brew, you turn it on for about 5 to 10 seconds. The water doesn't come out immediately when that pump first kicks on. So depending on how much water you want to add to your puck, 5 to 10 seconds. Then you're going to just go back to the on position, and you're just going to let it sit for, I'd say, about 7 to 10 seconds there. And then you're going to go back and you're going to do your brew. That is how you do the pre-infusion or the blooming time. There is another way you could do that, which is a little bit more complicated. You could have it on brew mode, and then you could open up the valve for the steam wand, which will allow some water to come out of the steam wand, therefore reducing the pressure that is going through your puck. But because there is no solenoid valve in here, You don't need to do that. You can just, and plus you're depleting water from the boiler when you're doing that, which will lower the temperature more quickly than you need to. So I'd say just go from the brew, add about 5 to 10 seconds of water, go to on, let it sit for about 7 to 10 seconds, and then finish your brew. Another thing about this machine now, because it's very simple, it has one set temperature for brewing and has one set temperature for steaming. If you wanted to play around with that temperature a little bit, let's say you've been learning about how light roasts sometimes get extracted a little bit better at higher temperatures, you can always, before you brew, switch it over to the steam mode there for about 3 to 5 seconds, just let it start to heat up a bit. It's gonna ramp it up 1 or 2 degrees, and that's something you can play with. And don't go there too long because you don't want it to get boiling. And then you can go back and do your brew and you'll have a higher temperature. The same now if you were wanting to go for a lower temperature because you're using a dark roast and for some reason you feel like the temperature is too high, you can just, before you put your portafilter in, flush out a little bit of water, maybe 3 seconds of water or so, and then insert your portafilter and then start brewing. That will lower the temperature a couple degrees as well. A couple degrees Celsius I'm talking about here, guys. So related to how it does not have a mechanism in here to depressurize itself, this is not really a hack. This is just a usage note on these things. You may find there's two options here. So when you're pulling your shot, you're timing your shot, you have your scale on there. Let's say you've got 18 grams in there, you're going for a ristretto shot, so you're trying to pull it around 36. With some machines with a 3-way solenoid valve, you would cut it off around 30, you'd turn it off when you hit about 36, and you might get another between like around 5 grams or something that might drip out in there, no big deal. This guy, it's still pressurized, so there's still gonna be quite a bit of liquid that's gonna be coming out of your puck. So you might, so if you really wanted that ristretto ratio of 18:36, you're gonna be like, oh no, now it's at 46. So you can do two things here. You can either pull your shot out right when you get that time, you pull your scale, everything out there, while you're cutting it off, because it's going to still flow for a little bit there, and you got a drip tray in here, it's pretty deep, no worries, just rinse it out after. That's one thing you could do, or you could just actually cut your shot off about 5 seconds or so before you're done with your extraction, and that will allow a little bit of that pressure to dissipate. You're still going to get a bit of your liquid out, and it's going to be between 5 to 10 grams of liquid that are coming out of there. So you choose which way works for you. I also want to mention that when you turn on that machine in the morning and you let it heat up, put your portafilter in there, let the portafilter get it all heated up as well, let that group head get nice and hot, because that heated group head, that is one of the great benefits of this machine, is that you have great temperature stability. Okay, so when it comes to steaming, there are a few things to learn. As these machines come stock, they have a Panarello steam wand on here. They are these little tubes of aluminum over the actual steam wand, which is rubber. They allow it to aerate a little bit more aggressively without you doing anything. You're gonna get a very foamy milk, and some people like that, some people don't. If you wanna do latte art, you can steam with one of these things. I can't, some people can. Number one thing you can do is you can just take off the sleeve. Let's just say you don't have to fix it if it ain't broke. So just put a little zip tie on here and cut it off every once in a while when you want to take it off and clean it better. But overall, that's just a very simple way to mod your steam wand. You could remove the whole steam wand apparatus. These things come apart very, very easily. I have a whole video about how I put a different steam wand on this machine. The truth of the matter is that replacing the steam wand for me was a fun project. I got to take apart the machine, I got to play with it. That was fun for me. Did it improve my steaming experience? Actually, no, not really. It does not steam better with this than it does with the rubber. In fact, because I don't have as much mobility on this steam wand as I do with this guy right here, I might prefer the rubber steam wand. So if you are interested in an in-depth video on how to put a Rancilio real steam wand onto this machine, it's linked here somewhere. But let me just say that it's not necessary, because this guy here works really, really well. A couple notes on steaming. If you are steaming, make sure that you put it on the steam setting here. A lot of people don't, and then leave in the comments on other things that hey, it doesn't have enough steam pressure. It does. You just put it over on the steam setting. Another thing you could do is, if you want even more steam pressure, or you want it to steam for even longer, if for whatever reason you're not finding you have enough steam time, break out your timer. Once you have it heated up to brew mode, if you switch it over to steam, it takes 25 seconds on my machine to get to the steam mode. So as soon as I would set up a timer, when I hit 20 seconds, which is 5 seconds shy of it being heated up all the way, I would start my steaming. That would mean that I would start my steaming by turning on this switch here. That means it would continue to be heating, continue to add pressure. It will steam faster. That is one way you can continue it building pressure, continuing it to be heating, get a faster steam time on it. So that's a little hack you can do to get more steam time and more pressure out of your steam wand. Very, very simple hack. Friends, I hope that helped you out a lot. These are amazing machines that can do amazing things. I hope that just shows you that just with a couple things, you can, buy this on sale, $125, buy yourself a $200 espresso grinder, get those accessories. You have a full, awesome cafe quality setup, $400. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Once again, like, subscribe, comment, affiliate links. Bye-bye. Stop it.